Right, sermon. Dolly Parton in the film 9 to 5 sings, "Tumble out of bed and stumble to the kitchen, for myself a cup of ambition, yawn and stretch and can't try to rely. Jump in the shower and the blood starts pumping, out on the street the traffic starts jumping, with folks like me on a job, 9 to 5. Sorry about the song. Really. That seems to be her daily routine, and her priority was to get to work on time. When I was an apprentice, my priorities were getting to work on time and doing the work as best I could. So it was a similar routine, but I had to be at work for 8 o'clock and finish at 5:30. At first, and then they changed it to 7:30 and finish at 5. And there were evening classes to go to as well. And then ride my bike home. The daily, trying to get to work on time, I had a 3.5 mile bike ride to get to work. And I knew that when my mum called me, there was no time to waste. No time to just roll over and say, another 5 minutes or so. Couldn't put it off anymore. I had to get up and get going. Get downstairs, and my mum would got me lunch made and swallow me a cup of tea, put my boots on and off to work. And then they changed it to 7:30 and to finish at 5. Now, my daily routine includes tablets at 7:30 and more at 8:30 and 8:30 in the evening. Some tablets need to be taken at specific times, but some time doesn't really matter to them. They can be put off for a while. And then I do the exercises and doing some knee bends to help my knees to be keeping going. And then it includes the hearing aids as well, but I put the hearing aids on. I really struggle with those. And then do the Bible reading and prayers. And Sundays we're getting to church on time, and when Jane is better, to collect Jane on time. I usually go shopping on a Wednesday morning, and I usually make bread and do my washing on Saturdays. On Saturdays, I try to get my washing on as soon as the bread's in the oven. Things happen. A few weeks ago, I put the clothes into the washing machine and forgot to put the powder and set the machine going. Then, when I could not hear the machine going, I remembered I must put the powder in and start the machine. It was 3/4 of an hour later, which meant that it would finish later. It really didn't matter too much, as I was not in a rush about it. And it was hung up to dry. It got put off a little bit, but it didn't matter too much. There are some things that can be put off until later, and some that have to be done as soon as possible. When Alta had a lot of back pain, and I took her to the doctor, and he said he couldn't find the results of the x-ray that she had had, as it was down in her notes that she'd seen the pain specialist and had a back x-ray. But Alta said that yes, she had seen the pain specialist, who was as useless as a chocolate fireguard, but who said it was all in her mind, but had not had an x-ray. Oh, he said, we will see about that. And he phoned the hospital, asked for about the back x-ray. And the x-ray department told him that Alter had not had a back x-ray. So he asked, okay, right, so he asked if she could have one as soon as possible. So after having it done, they said there was something there, and she would have to have a CT scan, and then an MRI scan. And it was found that there was a tumour that had wrapped itself around the spinal cord and was strangling it, and she would have to have an operation to remove it. It could not be put off. A few weeks ago, I was at coffee morning at the Baptist church and was talking to a lady there. And Jonathan came in and started to tell her about me living in the tent. You've heard the story before, so I'm not going to repeat it. In the garden of the house I'm now living in, and how I was not sure that I was in the right place, and prayed and asked God to tell me where we should be. So I read in the Bible, that place that you pitched your tent, that I will give you for inheritance to you and your children. I asked this lady if she believed, and she said that she was sitting on the fence. She was sitting on the fence. And I thought about that. I told her that sitting on the fence is no good. I told her that the best thing I ever did was ask Jesus into my heart, to trust Jesus and ask him to forgive my sins. Some people come to church and hear the gospel, but still put off turning to Jesus, to trust Jesus and ask Jesus into their heart. In Ecclesiastes 3, verses 1 and 2, God says, there is a time for everything, a time to be born and a time to die. All those here, and especially women that have been pregnant and given birth to a baby, know all about being born and the struggle that happens. And there are those whose spouse has died just over 3.5 years ago. My wife, Alta, died. She slipped out of a wheelchair and just lay down and stopped breathing. And I think she heard the trumpet call and went to be with Jesus in heaven. And when God says that it is your time, you can't argue. In 2 Corinthians 5, verse 10, Paul says that we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ. I sort of imagine a sort of court where God is on the throne and the devil is the accuser and Jesus as the defense counsel. And the one that died is in the dock, and the devil will list all the sins from exceeding the speed limit to the time when you say, "Ooh, I'll kill you." And he will not miss one of them. Not one. And God would say, well, how do you plead? And the one has to plead guilty. And God will ask Jesus if he has anything to say. And if the guilty one says that he had turned to Jesus before he died and Jesus had forgiven him, so Jesus would say, my blood covers all his sin. He is mine. Then God would say to this one, come into heaven. But if the guilty one had not turned to Jesus, then Jesus would say, I do not know you. I do not know you. And God has to tell them that they send themselves straight to hell for eternity. No chance of parole. Do you In reading from 2 Corinthians and Philippians, Paul knew where he would spend eternity. He says he's ready to go. Do you know where you're spending eternity? Do you? For me, to live is Christ. To die is gain. We used to sing that chorus. Do not sit on the fence. Jesus has done everything he could for you to be saved. He was beaten, flogged, had a crown of thorns pushed down on his head, and was to carry his cross, but he was not able to. Someone else had to carry it for him. Then he was nailed to the cross and died, and a spear pushed into his heart from his side for us all, and paid the price for our sin. Do not put off any longer turning to Jesus. Nobody knows when it's your time to die. People do. It says in the Bible 80 years of 10. Or it's just past that now. Or 80 if you've got the strength. Jane is 80. We do not know how long we've got. I really expected Elle to last a lot longer than she did, but 3.5 years ago, she died. She's at peace. She's in heaven. She knows. She knew Jesus. Do you? When it's your time to die. We will sing number 723.